hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan, the voice of the Blue Eagle. The Jesuit Hour. Get to know the Jesuits. Discover their spirituality, their history, their ministries. The Jesuit Hour. Anything Jesuit, everything Jesuit. The Jesuit Hour.
Good morning, mga Katipuneros. Good morning to all of you Ateneans here and outside of the campus, here and abroad. Good morning po sa inyong lahat. Magandang umaga. It's the second day of the week, May 8, 2018. Kumusta po ang gising ninyo, mga Katipuneros? And of course, we would like to greet our Ateneo Alumni Associations all over the world. Yes. Especially those based in the US and Canada. Sila po ang masugid nating mga tagapakinig. Good morning to all of you. And we would like to start, of course, as always, with a prayer. And we take our prayer from Father James Kubiki's A Year of Daily Offerings. And he continues to write about our Mother, the Blessed Virgin Mary. Because as we said yesterday, May is the month of Mary. And so he writes, during this month, we set aside a day on which we honor our mothers. But the entire month is dedicated to the Mother of God and our Mother. We would be very cold, ungrateful, and unloving if we ignored or forgot about our mothers on Mother's Day. She is the one who gave us life, and she or another who took her place, nurtured and cared for that life. Thus, we honor our mothers with a special day. Mary is our spiritual mother. She gave each of us the new life of grace when, through her, the Savior, the author of life, came into the world. Without Mary, the Son of God could not have taken flesh, developed, been born, lived, suffered, and died, and then rose all to save us. Thus, we owe Mary big time and should always be grateful to her. Since Mary is the mother of Jesus, she is also our mother because we are one with him in his body. Jesus confirmed this when, with his dying words on the cross, he said, "Behold your mother." The church has always interpreted these words spoken to the disciple whom Jesus loved as words spoken to all the beloved followers of Christ throughout history. And so we pray, Mother Mary, you gave birth to Jesus, my Savior. In doing so, you have also given birth to me, because he has freed me from sin and given me a new life. Help me today to live as your child. May everything I do bring a smile to your face as you see the pleasure it brings to your Son. Amen. And that is our morning reflection and prayer. We thank, of course, Father James Kubiki, and beautiful words of praise, of tribute to our spiritual mother. Yes, she is our spiritual mother, the Blessed Virgin Mary. May we be able to remember her, yes, throughout the day. Okay, my dear friends, welcome once again to the Jesuit Hour, and this is your host, Father Nono Alfonso S.J. We say good morning to our early tuners, Jennifer and Julian Medrano. Good morning po sa inyong lahat. Please spread the word that we have a show here at the Ateneo. This is your Ateneo Radio Campus, Radyo Katipunan 87.9. Yes, and we are accessible, of course, primarily through Facebook. Yes, please spread the word. And so, today is Tuesday, and we're very happy, we're very fortunate. Nako po, ito po kung meron tayong Mother Mary, yes. I think it's no accident. It's no coincidence that we are having her as our guest this morning here at the Jesuit Hour. Paborito po ito ng mga Jesuita, my generation, mga Jesuita po, because she was able to guide us. So today, here at the Jesuit Hour, we would be featuring a Jesuit personality. And yet, she is a woman. Okay, abangan niyo po yan. And sa ating mga mga kabatch na mga Jesuita, Father Nono Levosada, where are you? Yes, nag-check attendance kami dito. So, sa mga kabatch ko pong mga Jesuita, the generations, before me and after me, my generation, paborito natin tong babaeng ito. Pwede rin nating ituring siyang kung si Mama Mary ay spiritual mother, she is our psycho-spiritual mother. Yes, we owe a lot to her. We owe our formation to her. Okay, so yan po, abangan niyo po yan. A very kind lady. Wait for that after our short break.
The Jesuit Hour. Get to know the Jesuits. Discover their spirituality, their history, their ministries. The Jesuit Hour. Anything Jesuit, everything Jesuit. The Jesuit Hour. Meron? Ano nga ba ang meron? Paano nga bang mabuhay ng tapat sa meron? Don't you wish you can relive your philo classes? The terror teachers? The terrible oral exams? Or the even terrifying but liberating and life-changing aha moments? Lundagin mo, baby! Here's your chance! Lundagin mo, baby! Kasama ang mga pilosopong sina Jovi Miroy at Ron Capinding. Lundagin mo, baby! Leaping upward, leaping forward. Lundagin mo, baby! Leaping to greater heights, to greater wisdom, to greater magis. Lundag na, Ateneo! The music class. Join us in an afternoon of elegant and exquisite music. Listen to the heartwarming performances and spirit-uplifting numbers. Join the music class and learn music in an excitingly new way. With our hosts, Erica Cruz, singer, composer, and Loyola School's awardee for music, and Jonathan Arevalo Koo, pianist and music lit professor. The music class, every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. The music class. Let the music class begin. Let us understand mental health and explore how we can take care of our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Welcome to your weekly slice of mental health tips and tidbits with Pat and B, here on Mind Ed.
Sa'yo sumisilong kapag ang puso ko'y pagod.
To open our eyes and ears that we may see the face of Christ and hear his voice in our midst. For 28 years, Jesuit Communications has been promoting the Catholic faith and serving the nation through both traditional and new media. Hear us tackle national issues in light of Christian values on Usapang Kapatid, Pasakalye, and Radyo Veritas. Watch our uplifting reflections on Kapet Pandasal and The Word Exposed, as well as our acclaimed TV specials. Listen to the inspiring and soothing music of Jesuit Music Ministry's original artists as you read our spiritually enriching books. To learn more about JustCom's mission of evangelization and education, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and our website, justcom.ph. To give a face to the faceless and a voice to the voiceless, that we may recognize Christ in them and hear his story in theirs.
Lead X. X is for the extracurricular life of the Ateneo College students. X is for the X Factor. that transforms them into leaders, into men and women for others. X is for Lead X. Lead X.
Down from the hill.
Basil Valdez, the Apo Hiking Society, Parokya ni Edgar, Bukas Palad, the Ateneo Glee Club, and many more. All homegrown talents at the Ateneo de Manila University. Get to know the current music environment at the Ateneo. Tune in to Himig Ateneo. Himig Ateneo. Listen to the Blue Eagles sing. Himig Ateneo. The Jesuit Hour. Get to know the Jesuits. Discover their spirituality, their history, their ministries. The Jesuit Hour. Anything Jesuit, everything Jesuit. The Jesuit Hour.
And bumabalik na po tayo sa ating programa, The Jesuit Hour. Once again, I'm your host, Father Nono Alfonso S.J. And as I mentioned earlier, yes, we are so fortunate. Starstruck ako. Starstruck ako. Kasi nga po, meron kaming dito, panauhin. Our resource person, our guest for this morning is somebody who has really helped a lot many of us Jesuits, especially in my generation. Kumbaga, nahawakan niya kami. Parang ang pangit ng pakinggan,
Hindi, pangit nga.
Okay, so without further ado po, she works at the Emmaus Psycho-Spiritual Center, and as I mentioned, she also does a lot of formation work for other religious congregations, does a lot of training, does a lot of workshop. She goes around the country to do that. And I wonder, though, if she is still teaching. Before, she used to teach at the Ateneo College. Without further ado, Miss Eva Galve. Yes, good morning po.
Good morning.
Sabi ni Carol San Juan, make sure that malapit siya sa microphone.
O sige, lalapit na ako sa microphone.
Ayan po, si Miss
Good
Eva
morning.
Galve. And, si Rico Adapon. Rico, nagtuturo ito sa Europe eh. Nakabalik ka na ba?
Bumalik na daw siya.
Bumalik na.
Ewan
Okay.
ko.
Good morning kay Rico. Okay, so Miss Eva, ano nga ba yung you wear so many hats? Of course, you're part of Emmaus, but what other things, what other jobs or tasks do you do?
So my primary involvement is Emmaus.
Emmaus, yes.
And most of the other involvements I have are in relation to what I do at Emmaus.
Emmaus.
Like I do spiritual direction for the San Jose seminarians. And then I run the programs for Emmaus. And I do give also 30-day retreats to diocesan seminaries. Parang gano'n. But primarily, they're all part of what I do for Emmaus.
But before Emmaus, Miss Eva, nagkaroon ka ng buhay, di ba?
Oo naman.
So, I remember you mentioning that before Emmaus, you used to teach at the Ateneo College. Psychology department, correct?
Correct. But before that, my first job after graduation is I work in Assumption.
Ooh.
Assumption was still in Iran. So now you know how long ago that was.
Oh.
And then when they moved to Antipolo, because I work with a grade school, I was guidance counselor. Then I became coordinator. Then we moved to Antipolo. And then I kind of got tired of listening to difficulties, especially of children. Mahirap yun eh. Hindi ka walang control. So I decided to move to Ateneo just to do psychometrics for the Ateneo Guidance Center. Office, rather.
Okay.
And it was there when I was asked if I could teach in the Department of Psychology.
So that was a long time ago. And then after that, you got involved
Yes,
in
yes,
Emmaus.
yes.
How did that happen?
Father Benny, whom I knew as a
Calputura.
scholastic.
Oh, scholastic pa lang siya noon.
Oh, and I was a CLC member of Saint Scholastica. And you know how the scholastics are assigned to be ecclesiastical assistant. So that's where I met Father Benny.
Ah, okay.
And then when I was already in college guidance office, Si Father Benny was naman doing his studies in the US.
PhD.
Oh, then he came for a vacation and then sabi niya, "Uy, andito ka pala. Sumama ka sa akin. We are thinking of opening a center to assist formators, to help formators prepare for their work."
Okay.
Kasi alam naman yung mga religious, they get assigned to all kinds of
Yeah. Oo.
positions that they are not prepared for. So that's how I got involved.
Kailan ba
in it.
nagsimula yung Emmaus?
1981.
1981. Wow, martial law pa.
Oo. We're turning 37
Wow.
this year.
Oo. Mas matanda pa pala kayo sa Jescom.
Oo. Bata pa yung
Diba?
Jescom.
Hindi, nag-ano na rin kami. Mga 30 years na rin kami.
Talaga?
Oo. Pero, wow, 37 years?
Yes.
Wow.
Oo.
So, and of course, you are part of the founding
Group.
Yes.
Yes.
So there was Father Benny Calputura, there was Teresa,
Yes.
oo,
And
and
then,
yourself. O, ilan
yes,
ba kayo?
but there were other sisters. Like there was Sister Mary James Wilson of Good Shepherd Sister, Sister Maribel Carcelier,
5.
RSCJ,
Oo.
and 2 other priests from other congregations. Si Father Bernard McEachern, I don't know where he is now. He's a Passionist priest, and Father Ben Moraleda of
So
the
marami pala
Redemptorist.
kayo.
Oo.
So, okay. So, and then from the time you started the Emmaus till now, you have been part of it? Grabe. Walang kapaguran? You don't miss teaching?
Do I miss teaching?
Or the college guidance center?
No. Although I have opportunity to teach now because yung Department of Education has this course, Ignatian Pedagogy.
Oh, talaga?
And
Inadapt
I
nila yung...
have half of the course is on Ignatius and Ignatian spirituality. So that's
Really?
what, yeah. So
Inadapt
I
ng
teach
Department
that.
of Education?
Yes, sila lang naka-mainstream ng Ignatian spirituality.
Wow, galing. Congratulations. So, where do you teach that?
At the Department of Education, here at the Ateneo.
Okay. Wow, very good. So, ano yan? Regular po yan?
Oh, that's I take half of the semester
Mm-hmm.
because that is where they get introduced to the person, life, and spirituality of Saint Ignatius.
Okay, so reflecting now on your your massive work, Miss Eva, no? Napag-usapan namin pahapyaw ni Miss Paz when she guested here. Kasi you've been handling not just Jesuits. You've been handling seminarians, diocesan seminarians, and seminarians from other congregations. I guess even nuns, correct? So, as it were, church personnel, di po, church manpower, no? So, what do you think are the major spiritual issues of those who have answered the call? Yan naman. Oo.
Of course, they're attracted to religious life and priesthood for various reasons. Some because they feel that is where they will be open to healing. No, para maybe that's where they can avail of healing.
Is that a good
And
motive?
it may not be, it shouldn't be the
It
primary
shouldn't be.
motive.
Okay.
But the reality is all of us are wounded
Yes,
at
yes,
different degrees.
Oo.
So,
Hindi ka naman wounded,
wounded din siya. Hindi mo lang alam. Siyempre, hindi namin siya share. Facilitator kami.
Okay.
So, yon, that's one. No? Parang maybe they feel, parang it's a refuge. It's a place where you probably experience a better life. Or the other thing is, they don't know what to do with their lives. So, and these religious congregations offer you many opportunities to do something good. So,
Yes,
okay
oo.
din yun. So, why
Yeah.
not,
Oo.
no? Others, they really have spiritual motives. Yung talagang, because early
Parang
on,
ako.
sige, okay. Early on in their lives, somehow they have encounters of with God. And parang simple.
Okay.
And so they just want to
So
pursue that.
that's their starting point.
Oo.
However,
However, there are those also who are escaping something from outside and so they want to enter religious life. Yan.
so yun yung sa simula. Pero once inside and they, di ba, usually naman, we grapple with many issues.
Yeah.
With our woundedness, brokenness, etc. So, ano po yung mga kumbaga mga primary struggles or issues na lumalabas? Because you handle us, di ba, from start to end.
Yeah. So we know naman that the religious life and the seminary formation will expose you to many ideals. That's what I found the Jesuits to be very strong on. No?
Mga ideals.
Parang for them,
Mga
I realized that, this is a group of men who really have ideals and they really sincerely pursue it. Whether they are successful or not, they have on fire for ideals.
Driven by ideals.
And on fire for service
Mission.
of God. Ganyan, no? So, because of that, they are, in a way, those motivations that may be very human in their nature are given other perspectives. So, they become also attracted to those ideals, to the relationship with God, the experience with helping people, etc. So, somehow, whatever human motives or maybe not so good motives are there, as long as they are open to this, so they can be, you don't really transform, but you add something more, and so it broadens their desire. I mean, parang the right intent.
So parang sinasabi mo, Miss Eva,
develops.
that for the Jesuits, for example, we are driven by ideals, and yet, of course, is there a tendency to just set aside what makes us human, and therefore the work is to integrate.
Yes. That's very real, no? Lalo na Ateneo, di ba? Talagang very strong.
Yes.
And that's important because ideals have to be awakened. Our desire to do good is there. But you need structures to awaken that. Pero, you can go to the other extreme and forget
which
naman, you don't get grounded, sabi mo nga kanina, lutang, no?
Lutang.
So parang, sure, those are good things to do, but you have to look at your reality. What are your capacities? No, sometimes you drive yourself beyond your capacities. That you create your own pressure on yourself, no? Because you go by your ideals blind to your realities. So you have certain expectations that you feel are too much pressure for you.
Parang Miss Eva, you hit the problem or one of the greater problems at the said, kasi parang pag nasa religious life ka, 'di ba, calling ito ni Lord, talagang talagang ideals. Talagang you work with the ideals, you're very idealistic. And so sometimes pagod na pagod ka na, pero hindi. Bigay pa rin ng sarili. Mga ganun, no? Until something snaps.
Correct.
Oo. Diba?
So sometimes kumisan nga sabi ko, sige nga, think of the many ways you make yourself stressed. Because the stress may come from outside, but your own expectations of yourselves, if you're not grounded on your reality, is what can break you.
So, what is the intervention that you do, Miss Eva or Emmaus, pag ganon, yung, halimbawa, hindi na nakaapak sa lupa, nababurnout na, nasusunog na. So, what do you do?
Well, first we make them look at that reality. Okay, that's a nice thing to do. That's a good thing to do. It's like for me, ideals are stars.
Okay.
No? They are there to guide you, but it's not your duty to to go to the star and reach the star. Parang gano'n, no? So, parang, you don't throw your ideals. So, we talk about that, okay? And we see where the tension is. So, you see your tension is, you are so driven by these ideals, but if you look at your capacity, you have limits. Malaga yun eh. You also know what your limits are.
Yes.
Because some people want to idealize themselves. Yung parang, I don't only have ideals of generosity. I want to be the epitome of generosity.
Wow.
And then, you'll come to a point when you realize, you can't be the epitome of generosity. You have limits. And then, so that also hurts your self-image, no? Your idealized self-image. So, you have to say, okay, there's nothing wrong with having limits. Parang normalizing some causes of stress as normal. And you just have to look at it and say, okay, that happens to everyone.
Okay. So that's the Jesuits and some other congregations, I guess, the problem of yung pagiging lutang. Are there other, I'm sure there are other serious problems that you have handled, the struggles in the religious life, in the church. Like, for example, you hear of so many scandals, so whether it's alcoholism or sexual scandal, etc. So,
Yeah.
yun, Miss Eva, how do you look at them?
If you look at sources of difficulties, they are varied. But again, I think information, it's very important that you help people, give people the ability to see themselves for as they are, nor the reality. Because the problem here is the wounds are in our real selves. It's not in our ideal or idealized self.
Wow, yeah.
Now,
Quotable quote yun, ha? The wounds are in our
real
self, not in our ideal self.
Correct.
Quotable quote yan, Rico. Sulat mo na, okay?
So ngayon, if information, you do not look at your actual self or your real self, you keep on hiding it because, people may not, they may send you out or ganyan, then the real problems do not get confronted. Okay, so those problems of, now, what we are most conscious about in the church, because Pope Francis also highlights that, are abuses,
Yes,
particularly sexual abuses.
Yes.
Okay. So, if there are roots of that in yourself, in your childhood, but because you are not willing to look at yourself, kasi that's also painful, no? We like only to see what is good about ourselves.
Yes,
We do
yes.
not like to see what is not
And
nice
society
or-
as well would only
Correct,
want to look
Oo.
at the better side of
Correct.
ourselves.
Oo.
Yes.
That's why you need people working information who can create that safe environment where you can be yourself.
Yes.
Kasi ano pa ba naman, I mean, where else will formation start?
yes.
In your ideal self. Di pwede ka ng ordinan bukas, no? Kasi ideal ka na nga.
Okay.
Diba? So, formators, it's very important in the formation environment that people are able to are feel safe, no? Yun nga, parang, I remember reading a Vatican document that says, the formator is a friend of the formand. So,
Wow.
I ask, I wonder, how many
Hindi ganun yung mga
formands?
formators namin, no?
Or is it in the attitude of the foreman, di ba? Na, you're out there you're there
Well,
actually
actually,
to
come
find
to think of it,
out.
our
Oo.
formators are our friends. Have become our friends. Si
Oo.
Father Mon, kabasketball ko. Father Jun Vera, kabasketball din namin, di ba?
That's true.
Oo, yeah.
Oo.
So,
Oo. Kasi nga, parang, may we can get attached to wanting to be a priest or a religious. For whatever reason. Maybe because some people still think it's the highest form of vocation. Kung yun na yung highest form of vocation, hindi everybody wants to be a priest or wants to be a religious. So you cannot really discern the real call. Kasi not everyone's call naman. to
Okay, Miss Eva, what about struggles living out vows? Diba? There are 3 vows for the religious, poverty, chastity, obedience. How do you address that? May mga sabi-sabi kasi na, I don't know if this is true, na halimbawa, for nuns daw, for the female religious, they struggle with the vow of chastity. Akala namin nun sa lalaki yan. And then, this is based on a study, I guess, in the US. At sa mga kalalakihan naman daw, they struggle with the vow of obedience. Kasi, di ba, men are usually, stubborn, di ba, headstrong. So, nag-aaway-away sila, no? So, what do you think?
Baliktad nga yung experience
Baliktad?
ko.
Oy.
Oo. Actually, with women, mas struggle ang obedience.
Oh, wow.
And sa men, more
Chastity, relationships.
Oo. But ganon, no? Mas baliktad sa akin. Pero ang interesting nga na nakita ko is parang hindi lang yung struggle is with the vows, pero parang it's related to the charism of the congregation. No?
Oy,
Halimbawa,
what do you mean?
di ba? Jesuits are supposed to pride themselves in
In?
obedience.
Oh.
Hindi ba?
Oo.
Usually,
The mother of the vows.
yun ang mga doon nagkakaroon ng difficulty, no?
Uh-huh.
Halimbawa, yung mga Franciscans, ano dapat sila? They should be
Poor.
kung saan doon naman
Simplicity of
doon naman
lifestyle.
when you listen to their stories, may ganun sabi ko, parang the challenge is in your charism, the challenge in what you will your challenge is more in terms of living out not just the vows but the charism. But all in all, I think chastity would be parang something you struggle with all your life. I think, halimbawa yung obedience, the younger you are, the more obedient you are, but as you grow older, maybe that's when it becomes more difficult. But I think chastity is something that you really will constantly struggle all your life.
Okay, struggles about sexuality. How do you place that in the vow of chastity, for example? Living out the vow of chastity. How does that factor in? If you have, struggles with your sexual orientation, sexuality.
I guess we all have needs for intimacy. We just have to find ways of meeting our intimacy needs within the context of what we have chosen. No? Kasi even married people would have experiences of intimacy, of loneliness. A married friend of mine said nga, mas masakit nga maging lonely pag may asawa ka kasi kung wala kang asawa, at least expected mo yon. But you can be lonely even if you have a wife because there are concerns that sa'yo lang talaga yun.
Pero Miss Eva kasi I asked that question also because di ba at the height of yung mga sexual scandals in the US primarily mas sila yung tinamaan talaga. There were calls not to accept to religious life or to the priesthood, to the seminaries yung like homosexuals. What is your opinion on that? Oy, controversial tong tanong na to
Oo nga,
diba?
baka ma-excommunicate.
Hindi lang, it's just an opinion.
Actually, we will always say, it's not the orientation, it's your capacity to live out chaste celibate life. Kasi marami rin namang heterosexual na hindi chaste at saka involved din dun sa mga scandals, hindi lang naman homosexuals, hindi ba? So, again, it's their inability to be able to manage their sexuality, yung impulse control nila. It's more a question of that rather than an orientation. Because there are also many heterosexuals who are involved in abusive relationships, hindi ba? Parang
actually,
ganyan.
Miss Eva, wala namang as far as I know, wala namang stand pa dyan officially ang simbahan.
Basta hindi, dapat hindi, ayun, I guess against unchaste behavior.
Correct.
Homosexual that is engaged in abusive and unchaste behavior. Parang ganyan, no?
Okay, moving on to other issues. May mga nagsasabi, Miss Eva, na more than sexual problems, yung mga pari raw dito sa Philippine Church, ang mas problema is alcoholism. Yung halimbawa, ito mga mga storya lamang na nagsasabi na, for example, 60% of the clergy narinig ko lang to in the Bicol and Visayas area, yun yung problema. Nalululong sa pag-inom kasi walang kasama, nandun sa mga bundok, so coping mechanism yung pag-inom. From your experience, is that correct?
Kasi we have to distinguish pa yung alcohol na abuse, alcohol na addiction, mga ganyan, I suppose yung talagang addicted ng alcohol is parang the use is umaga pa lang. Mainom na. So, functionally, you are already affected. No? That's one of the most common sign that something is already gone beyond is you cannot anymore live your life. You cannot hold a job, your relationships are already conflicted because mahirap ka ng kausap, ganyan, no? I don't know to what extent really yung percentage na nandun. But definitely, use of alcohol is prevalent in our society, no? And people use it
For coping.
to feel relax, no? It can also be related to other abuses kasi like if you drink and your inhibition is lowered, then you might engage in activities that you should under normal circumstances, if you're not under the influence of alcohol, you're not going to engage in. So that's what complicates things. So I don't know how the percentage of talaga yung alcoholics, although this is not to deny that the problem exists, but I would like also to speak that aside from alcoholism, the problems that go when people drink excessively or lose their inhibitions, and then what happens. Yun.
Okay. Speaking of coping, Miss Eva, do priests or nuns know how to take care of themselves? Or is it a common problem, the caretakers are not able to care for themselves?
Before I answer that, coping is you need to distinguish kasi there are unhealthy coping.
Okay.
But there are ways of there are healthy coping. No, so what we need to teach information is what are alternative ways of coping that are healthy. Healthy meaning to say it has no negative effect on you, it has no negative effect on your relationships, etc. No, parang ganon. That's one of the important things that they must learn information. So what was your going?
So do priests
about
know
care, self-care?
Self-care,
Okay.
yes, that's the word.
Self-care is something like new. It's a new thing, no? Kasi parang not only among religious, I see this also among NGOs, NGO workers. Kasi ang norm sa NGO ganito. Pag hindi ka pagod at the end of the day, akin lang to, opinion to. Pag hindi ka pagod at the end of the day, there's something wrong with your commitment. Hindi ba? So we have set certain standards na yung quality ng commitment mo, depende kung pagod na pagod ka at the end of the day, hindi ba? So medyo until such time na burnout ka na, wala ka ng gana. Kasi burnout is more than just physical. It's parang you lose the spirit because tired na yung katawan mo. Kaya yung self-care, medyo that's a new concept for people in mission, people in parang NGO work, example.
For the helping ministry.
Anyone is in the helping ministry. So, ang hirap niyan kasi parang, paano yun kung if I give myself some time, parang di ba, I'm being selfish.
Yeah.
So, you have to challenge.
Yung mga sabbatical, parang, ay, social nyo naman, may sabbatical kayo.
Parang you have to challenge a way of looking at giving, di ba? You have to discern also. And in the end, if you take care of yourself, you'll be able to help more people.
Okay, what do you say to those who are having yung tinatawag na vocation crisis? Mga ganon, na parang, ay, ito ba talaga yung tawag sa akin ng Diyos? Kumbaga midstream, nagkaka-vocation crisis. What do you say?
You have to distinguish between whether it's a developmental crisis, a vocation crisis, or a neurotic crisis.
What are the distinctions, the differences among the three?
I have to recall what the Whitehead said about neurotic crisis. Anyway, yung midlife crisis, developmental yan. At some point in your life, whether you're married, a priest, you're single, you start to tell yourself, uy, I'm already in my 40s. So you look back and say, did I make the right choices in life? So, pwede siyang developmental lang. Everybody goes through that. No?
Okay.
Yung vocation crisis, I would think, is a question of not just did I make a right choice, but parang hirap din After a while, if you look deeper into what's making you ask the question, is it only by virtue of your age, wherever you are, or is there really something in the call? Medyo may ano to, more than just psychological to. Kailangan may pagdasalan to in the sense na, do you feel that, kasi I would always think a call always arises from one's relationship with God. No?
Yes, yes.
Now, if you think your call did not arise from that, and
Wow.
I mean, parang bigla lang uso kasi, or pressure,
Oh, wow.
ganyan,
Too late.
yun na nga, parang sad, di ba? Sad. Kasi,
What about
oo.
what about yung neurotic? Sabi mo neurotic.
Sabi ng
crisis.
whiteheads, ng mga whiteheads, yung developmental daw, over time, you will, and processing, you will see there's life that comes out of it. Yung neurotic, parang hindi. Lalong, it's more dissipating of your energy, more draining. So, parang ganon.
Okay, how do you handle yung midlife crisis?
Ako magandang midlife ko kaysa hindi ko na-crisis. Anyway, how do you handle? Well, you listen to the person's story and in a way, you
And what's
ask
your advice kung nagbe-midlife?
talk to someone.
Talk to someone.
It's important that you have a support group so don't realize na ako lang ba to? Oh, I mean, wow, do other people at my age bracket, are they also going through this? Parang ganun.
Di ba, Miss Eva, it's being challenged, the fact that everyone goes through midlife? Does everyone go through midlife crisis? Or, kasi di ba, ang lagi sinasabi si Father Art Borao, hindi naniniwala sa midlife crisis.
It's something like this. I think we all go through something. Some of us are more aware of it. Others are not.
Okay.
So if I say I did not go, I'm not having a midlife crisis, maybe I'm not aware that I am, but maybe the people around me can see it except me. Or, well, they now do not like to call it crisis. It's transition.
Transition.
So every transition carries with it tension, carries with it questions.
Tsaka,
And transition, meaning to say, at some point, you will move to a new
Yes.
normal. Di ba? Parang ganyan. So, new normal ka na. So, hindi ka na in transition.
okay. So everyone goes through it because it's developmental. Sabi mo, di ba? So you go from one stage of your life to another. Okay. What about the last stage of life? Yung do you do this? Do you counsel? Do you yung mga those who are already aging and even infirm, religious? Like we have a lot dito sa Society of Jesus. I know we have like 2/3 of our men are 60 years old and above. Yeah. So, what are the normal struggles or problems do they face?
One is you have to face you're slowing down. No? Example, intellectually. No? Dati, if you will, I'm in that area na, that stage. Before, if I read a research article, wow, I just read it once, I understand what it says.
Retain ka agad.
Oo. Ngayon, parang, ano daw?
Ano daw?
Parang, ha? Ano daw? So, yon. And that can be very threatening. Parang, oh my God, what's happening to me? I'm slowing down. I remember Father Tanseco used to say, basta a long time ago, we were just talking informally and I said, we were talking about going to further studies. At, he was definitely beyond 60 that time. And sabi ko, so why don't you go and pursue that? Sabi niya, ay, naku, mag-entrance exam ako, babaksak na ako dyan. Sabi ko, paano ka naman babaksak? I mean, you're intelligent. But that's true. You don't know anymore how to take those tests and the things that so that's decline. So it's like decline in almost all areas of of your life. That can be very frightening.
Di ba, Miss Eva, mas mahirap yung mga pare, yung mga religious, especially in the Philippine context, na tinitingala yung mga pare, and they have so much, they enjoy so much power. Di ba kasi aging is the time in your life when you become more powerless.
Yeah.
Di ba? So,
Iba na
and
yung
you have-
bida, hindi na
Oo,
ikaw.
Hindi na. You have to let go of power.
Yeah.
So,
You have to have, again, you will have to find different ways of measuring your worth. Kasi
yun.
if your worth when you were young is you were the expert
Yes.
here, you were most popular,
Oo,
you're
yeah.
most sought after.
Yes, oo.
And then now, you are not anymore as sought after.
Yes, of course. Oo.
Oh.
Kasi
So,
pag nagsasalita ka, puro lang tirades. Tirades or whatever.
so parang, again, siguro at every age,
Uh-huh.
you have to find different ways of assessing what
that's-
will you base your self-worth.
Oo.
Hindi ba?
Oo.
Kasi hindi pwedeng...
Example. Kasi yun nga. So, if you're aging already, where do you base your
halimbawa,
maghanap ka
are
ng
you
iba?
going to go by number of things you're able to do? You cannot.
Yes.
Rather than maybe you can go by, let's say, you can contribute minimally,
Uh-huh.
but with more depth.
Yes.
Oh,
Quality
diba?
rather than
Quality.
quantity.
Yes.
Yes.
So, but there are things that only can come from an old person
Mhm.
by virtue
Yeah,
of
wisdom.
that person. Yes,
Oo,
wisdom.
Diba? Yan yung di ba? Wisdom na.
Oo. Wisdom face.
Yes, okay. Okay, we'll just take a break. Marami pa po tayong mga katanungan kay Miss Eva. And if you want also, you can ask questions. Just,
questions.
post your questions sa ating pong Facebook page.
Marami
Hi to Eva from Carol San Juan.
Wow.
He's now in Zamboanga. And si Lotaus.
Hi, Carol.
Lotaus in the U.S.
Wow, Lota.
Belated happy birthday, Miss Eva. Hello, Father Nono.
And to her too. We share birthdays.
Talaga? Yung pala. Kaya naalala niya. Okay, sandali lamang po. May mga katanungan pa tayo kay Miss Eva.
The Jesuit Hour. Get to know the Jesuits. Discover their spirituality, their history, their ministries. The Jesuit Hour. Anything Jesuit, everything Jesuit. The Jesuit Hour. Have you ever wondered how our blue eaglets are formed by the Ateneo? How they learn to take their first step, run, and fly? Join Batang Atinista as Jerome Garcia, Jeff Velasco, and Jenny Salvania, otherwise known as the Team JJJ of the Ateneo Grade School, share with us how the Ateneo is starting them young. Batang Atinista. Only here at Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
The time has come when we can fly and spread our wings against the sky.
Be inspired, informed, and ignited. The Ateneo Way, a Radyo Katipunan feature that talks about values, art, books, culture, and ideas that matter a lot to many Ateneans. Hosted by Dennis Temporal of the Ateneo School of Humanities. This is the Ateneo Way.
We stand on a hill.
And there was another drive-by
The fire we reported at the old fire hall is still burning out.
Do you sometimes feel confused or lost in the complications and complexities of life? Do you feel drained, listless, or exhausted from the daily burdens and responsibilities? Why not seek our campus ministers on air every Tuesday and Thursday from 2 to 3 in the afternoon? Listen to our counselors from the Loyola School's Campus Ministry Office as they ground our lives in our faith, in our school's spiritual tradition. Campus Ministers on Air. Be guided, be inspired, be blessed. Listen to our Campus Ministers on Air.
Calling on all young male professionals. Do you wish to live an extraordinary life? Are you tired of the routine and mundane and long for a dynamic, adventurous, and even dangerous life? Do you wish to make your life count and hope to make an impact long after you're gone? Do you wish to live a life of service to society, to country, and to dear Mother Earth? Then you are the one we are looking for. Consider the Society of Jesus. Join the Church's gallant army and turn your world upside down. Call the Jesuits Vocations Promotions Team, 426-6101, local 3406. Once again, 426-6101. 6101, local 3406.
Welcome to the Rundown, where we take you right into the action with the latest sports news, updates, game previews, breakdown, and analysis in, around, across, and beyond the Ateneo. And now, let's get ready to run down! Looking forward to a relaxing weekend? Why not jumpstart that with our Blue Brew? Enjoy our musical mix of pop, jazz, and OPM that Ateneans enjoy. Revel in the modern, the retro, or simply the latest trend in town. Sit back, relax, and listen to your favorite sounds in and around the metro. Whatever you like, we have it in the Blue Brew. Start the weekend right every Friday, 5 to 6 in the evening. The Blue Brew. The Jesuit Hour. Get to know the Jesuits. Discover their spirituality, their history, their ministries. The Jesuit Hour. Anything Jesuit, everything Jesuit. The Jesuit Hour.
Okay, we're back at kung marami po kayong mga tanong, ako marami pa kasi, no? Please post your questions sa ating pong Facebook page, and we are very fortunate to have our psycho-spiritual mother. Yes, oo. For those in my generation, we love Miss Eva Galve. Okay, Miss Eva, no, you also do spiritual direction. Diba? And of course, that's different from your psycho-spiritual work. Yung spiritual direction, you guide priests, the religious, to be more intimate with God in prayer. So, which one do you find more fulfilling?
Spiritual direction.
Talaga? Napapagod ka na
Yes.
sa mga processing?
Oo. Kasi it's between God and the other person, and you're simply keep on opening, making sure that the person stays focused on God. If there are any blocks, you just unblock it. And then you see how God works. Yung isa kasi kung minsan parang ikaw you're the one who made things work, who brought about the insight, things like that.
Yes, pag psycho-spiritual work. But ito na nabanggitin ni Paz natin, but you cannot miss out on the psychological, diba? Psychological work that you need to do, before you move on to sabi nga ni Father Benny nun sa amin, to be holy, you must be whole. Oo, diba? So tama yan, Miss Eva?
Oo. Ang kasi yung recently I thought of parang a path that perhaps formation can take. No, so sabi ko nga when you join religious life or when you become a candidate to priesthood, you start with what you bring, and that's your human experience, no? And then we find there nga many negative experiences that probably brought about some wounds. Then you help people cope, syempre, and coping means that you try to avoid being hurt further. I mean, nasaktan ka na nga. No? And then, so you move from helping people learn how to protect themselves, parang healthy self-protection. Then you help them find their strengths. So parang now I know na how to protect myself. Then I will find my strengths. Then only then, so they will say, oh, I have strengths. I can contribute something to society. And then after that, you begin to, with your strength now, you feel productive, you feel you can do something for society. Then later on, you realize that beyond productivity, there's something more. So you begin to search for what is life for. It's definitely not just being productive. When you ask the question, what is life for? Then you look at, why am I here? What was I created for? Then you begin to recognize there is a relationship with a creator. Diba? And then you begin to focus on that creator. So afterwards, from just being productive, you will begin to realize that what is more important is what in the words of David Fleming in the First Principle in Foundation, how do I deepen God's life in me?
Wow.
Kasi I realize na yung life ko comes from God. It even is like God's life in me, in fact. No?
Wow, in just 2 minutes, you synthesized yung formation program.
What we believe in Emmaus.
Yes.
Kasi di ba hindi lang yung ito program, ganyan-ganyan. No? Pero what do you believe in? How does a human person?
Okay, I have, as we wind down, Miss Eva,
Ayan.
I have personal questions for you. Di ba?
That I'm free to answer or not.
Of course. 37 years ka na, Miss Eva, di ba? So, how has it been like working with the Jesuits?
Okay.
Mixed reviews.
Okay. When I started to work with the Jesuits, I didn't know they were famous.
Are they?
or that many people idolize them.
Or hate them?
Or hate them also. It's only through personal friendships with Father Benny, whom I met in CLC. I didn't even know na CLC pala is Ignatian, o ganyan. I just joined CLC kasi sabi nung nanay ko, pag nag-college ka, mag-sodality ka, ha? Okay, whatever that means, sodality ako, yung pala yung CLC. But then as I get to know the Jesuits, parang I think I find in them nga, as I said, parang they were the ones who gave me a sense of mission, a sense of God. Parang ganyan, no? I would always say this, that si Father Benny, kasi parang ang feeling ko, mga Jesuits, so fired up with, no? Service for God. Tapos, they find people who can help them serve God.
Yes,
So, para silang mga
catalysts?
Hindi, para silang kumbaga yung cord. No? Sila yung saksak dun sa PowerPoint. Tapos meron silang extension cords. Okay? Pero si Father Benny, ang feeling namin, hindi kami extension cords. Pinlug din niya kami sa source. So parang kung ma-unplug man siya, hindi kami kasama. Or kami rin, kung ma-unplug kami. Parang it's important.
So empowering.
Empowering
Si Father Benny. Okay.
So yun. Parang so, for me, that's important of Jesuits.
Okay.
Your questions about
yun nga, yung how do you feel towards the Jesuit? So, how about this, Miss Eva, personal insights about the last 37 years, about your work, formation work?
I found that when I joined Emmaus, I found my life work. And it's not as if I didn't see all the ugly side of doing this work. No? And it grounded me. I'm not going around as thinking the whole world is beautiful. No, parang ganyan, no. And yet that's also where I realized what loving means. That you can love pala. Hindi mo iiwan yung imperfect. You can love pala. Love not in a romanticized way. Love what is imperfect.
Wow, that's beautiful. Kasi marami Miss Eva, ang tingin sa simbahan, sa mga pare, sa mga religious, sa mga madre, perfect, 'di ba? Yung they put them on a pedestal. So pag may nangyayaring 'di ba, kahinaan, etc., they're not able to accept. But on the other hand, you've been exposed to these weaknesses, because it's they're part of your work, and yet you're saying they've made you accept the reality.
Kasi yan naman reality ng tao may kahinaan. That's why I love Pope Francis. I think he was very bold in his first interview when he was asked, who really is Jorge? Pero sabi niya, I am a sinner. Grounded siya. I mean, the Pope, people will look up to the Pope thinking, wow, the holiest of all people. And yet will describe himself as that. Yun naman talagang spiritual reality natin.
So you're
sinners
saying,
loved by God.
So you're saying, Miss Eva, that despite what you have seen, despite the brokenness, the woundedness that you have seen in the church through the priests, the nuns, the religious you've handled, you've worked with, you can still find hope in the church.
Oh yes, because God is with us in the church.
Amen.
parang whatever is there,
Mhm.
God is still the one in the end who will do His work, do what needs to be done through our perfect beings. Parang ganyan.
Nakakayak naman yan. Kasi coming from you, Miss Eva, kasi nga sabi ko, you've been exposed. You know us eh. Diba? You've seen our real selves. Coming from you, without judgment, you still find hope. Diba? In the darkness that is our wounds or in the reality of our woundedness. Ang ganda naman nun, nakakayak. Okay.
Ignatian spirituality kaya
Yun
yun.
naman. Okay.
diba?
So, Miss Eva, we'll end with, yung lagi po naming ending dito is yung mga one-word descriptions.
One word?
One word
Of
lang.
what?
Just think. The first word that comes to mind. Okay, number 1. The Jesuits. One word description.
Passionate.
Passionate. Okay. The Philippine Church.
Oh,
Hirap siya, oh.
one word lang?
One word.
Growing.
Growing. Okay. Okay. Pope Francis.
Oh, 2 words eh.
2 words. Sige, go ahead. 2 words.
Parang Jesus in the concrete.
Jesus in the
Ang
concrete.
King Christ, Jesus in our world.
Wow. Alter Christus.
Yeah, I actually thought of Alter Christus.
Alter Christus. Okay. Emmaus.
Emmaus.
One word description of Emmaus.
Gift.
Gift. Ayan na. Okay. Paso. Oh, yeah.
Hindi ba sun-
Gift. Okay. And finally, Eva Galve. One word description of Eva Galve.
Oh my. Happy.
Happy. Okay, thank you so much, Miss Eva.
Tagal no nung happy.
Happy. Akala ko sasabihin mo, beautiful, inside out. Thank you so much, Miss Eva. Oo. Thank you for your wisdom and thank you for taking care of us. And
You're welcome.
more power to your ministry and your work. Okay.
Thank you.
So, mga Katipuneros, thank you so much for tuning in, for listening. We hope you gained some insights or inspiration from our show, from Miss Eva Galve. And if you need her, siya po ay nasa Emmaus Center here inside the campus of the Ateneo de Manila University. Until tomorrow, my dear friends, we will have as our guest for tomorrow at the Jesuit Hour, Father James Gascon of the Center for Family Ministry. Abangan niyo po yan. Until tomorrow, this has been the Jesuit Hour, and this is your host, Father Nono Alfonso, S.J.
The Jesuit Hour. Get to know the Jesuits. Discover their spirituality, their history, their ministries. The Jesuit Hour. Anything Jesuit, everything Jesuit. The Jesuit Hour.